Now, do you remember the Volksie, the old Volkswagen Beetle? Well, it's making an iconic comeback, and the team from OverDrive TV are with me, Gavin and Chiro. They've had the chance to drive that and some other cars this week. Guys, I'm dying to know more about the Volksie.
Well, I wish we'd driven it.
You haven't driven it yet?
No, it's not in the country yet.
When does it come to South Africa?
There we go. We've got some big news around that, and we'll announce that in just a moment. But I want to tell you a bit about it first. So, something Gavin wished had never happened.
Yeah, I'm not a big Beetle fan. I think you get people who are either Beetle acolytes like you, Liesl, or just don't get it. But anyway, you know, there are people out there who love them, and this is the new Beetle.
They can float for 12 hours. If you drive it into a dam, it's the only car that can float for 12 hours without sinking.
I did not know that. I don't know how you found that out either.
That's a story for another day.
Find yourself in a lake. So we brought in some beautiful pics for you, and you'll see them on your screen in just a moment. I think it looks really cool. Although this is just going to be a Golf underneath, because that's what Volkswagen does. They've sort of got one car, and then they just put different things on it.
Different shapes.
But you can't complain, because it's a very good
Absolutely,
make.
that's what I was saying. I mean, if you've got a brilliant basis like that, and they don't make a lot of very exciting cars, VW, it's nice to let their engineers let their hair down a bit and something that looks like the new Beetle. And as you can see it up there, it looks better than the old one.
But I prefer the old school one. I'm still an old school girl. Because I still own one. That's why I'm still driving my purple one.
Your 1972 Beetle.
Yeah.
So now we need a name for this. So there was obviously the new Beetle, which came out, about 10 years ago, and then there was the original. So
the Volksie?
Yes, the Volksie. So I'm calling this the new Beetle, and it's just gone on sale in the UK, and it's got a range of engines from a 1.2 petrol, some diesels, and all the way up to a 2-litre. And I have a feeling we'll see a Beetle GTI. I really do.
Type R as well, yeah. And just looking at the interior there, they've partnered up with Fender, the legendary guitar and acoustics and amplifier manufacturer, to create a bespoke sound system for this exact car. So that is
spec it with that.
That is a very good reason to buy it.
So we can only speculate on pricing. Obviously, to bring UK pricing straight to the South African market never works properly. But cheapest with a straight conversion is 215,000, and most expensive is 318. Mostly in line with the Golf, and it'll be in South African showrooms in October.
And we have got top-level clearance from VW to tell you that.
And I'm going to review it for you guys. How's that?
There we go.
Is that a deal? Well, I know Gavin
see if it can float for 12 hours.
From that car, going over from Germany to France.
Yes.
Now, if you think the Germans do niche with the Beetle, wow, you should see what the French have been up to, as usual. This car is just like nothing else on the road, the Citroen DS5.
That's correct, yeah. So, in other news, a concept car has escaped from a French factory and ended up in the hands of Gavin and I.
For those of you who don't know what a concept car is, it's those beautiful cars you see at auto shows across the world, and every 7-year-old boy says, well, why don't they just make that and put it on the road? And the French have listened, and they've literally, as Chiro said, they've avoided every committee and they've put this on the road.
But the thing is, you know, this car raises the question for me: what shape is cool? Like, is it a supercar? Is it a sports car? It's a really difficult question to answer. And 7-year-old me would have told you that the Ferrari Testarossa was the coolest car in the world. I had that poster on my wall for years. It annoyed the hell out of my mom, but it was really tatty by the time I was 14. But the thing is, this car is something you can buy for a normal amount of money, and I think it is quite possibly the most beautiful car on the road.
300,000 rand. And in an era where cars are getting more and more generic, it's just so refreshing to see a car like this. And even in driving it, you know, we get into sort of a routine in cars. Like, I was driving it yesterday, and you sort of reach for where you think the electric window switch would be, but it's not there. And then if you go to adjust the volume, you turn the cruise control on, and it's just everything's not where you expect it. And
good, it's challenging for you guys.
Absolutely, and it's a car that you explore, which I think is what makes it so engaging. And it's got the 1.6 turbo engine that's throughout most of the range. But it's a car where usually when Chiro and I get a car, the first thing we do is we dive for the stats and see what engine it is and all that. But the engine just seems to be a part of the car. It just seems to be incidental. Yeah, absolutely. It's a truly special car, and we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Price range?
We're looking at 300,000 rand to start off.
And then keep speccing it, and you know the journalist cars always spec quite highly.
So
obviously,
more than that.
Yeah. So the 300,000 rand one won't be exactly like the one we've got with SatNav and everything.
Well, guys, I know we're going to catch up with you next week. I'm dying to find out what cars are going into your garages next week. We'll wait till next Friday on Expresso.
Thank you.
If you want to follow Gavin and Chiro on Twitter at OverDrive TV, we've also tweeted some pics of the new Beetle. Let us know what you think of it. Right now, we're taking a break, and we'll be back with Expresso right after this.